Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and have gone through the last chapter and have done all the question answers of heredity which we discussed in the last live class also. Now, in this video and in today's lecture, we will be starting with our next chapter, that is our environment. In this chapter, beta, we will discuss about all those things which you have been studying about the environment, components of the environment, what is the ecosystem, what is the food chain, what is the 10% law, what is a food web, and what are the factors what affecting the environment, how only organisms, that is the human beings, are damaging the balance of the environment. Regarding all these things you have been studying from your junior classes, so it is a quick revision of all those concepts. First of all, you must know what is our environment. The environment includes our physical surroundings, that is everything which is available on earth: air, water, soil, which are the natural resources present on the earth, and the living organisms like plants, animals, microorganisms. All these include our environment. Environment has various ecosystems. Now the question arises, what is the ecosystem? An ecosystem is a self-sustained or independent unit. For example, a pond, a grassland, it is an ecosystem. A forest, it is an ecosystem. So ecosystem is a self-sustained or independent unit in which various organisms are dependent on their surroundings and they sustain their life, only take the input, that is the solar energy, from the surroundings. So for example, let us consider a pond. In the pond, there are consumers, there are producers, there are decomposers. The only thing which they are taking from the outside is the sunlight energy. That light energy is trapped by the producers, that is the plants which are present in the pond. These plants produce the food by the process of photosynthesis, and this food is consumed by the consumers. Consumers here are the herbivores also the small fishes, large fishes, frogs, various. Other than this, within the pond, various decomposers are also there, bacteria are there, fungi are there. So when those producers and consumers die, decomposers convert the organic substances, complex substances, into the simpler substances and mix them back into that particular pond ecosystem itself. So ecosystem is running. There is the dependency between the non-living and the living components within an ecosystem, and they can sustain, they can exist as an independent unit. Only thing which they take from the outside is the light energy or the sunlight. Moreover, in our environment also, all the organisms have their own significance. There is a perfect balance in the organism regarding how producers are dependent on the air, water and soil, how consumers are dependent on the producers, how decomposers are dependent on the consumers and on the producers, and ultimately how they convert the organic compounds and put them back into the environment, that is in the soil. So all the components play an equal role. From here you must be clear that there are two main components of an ecosystem. One is the abiotic component, which is also known as the non-living components. The other ones are the biotic components, which are also known as the living components. Abiotic components include air, water, soil, and the biotic components include all the plants, living organisms, all the animals, all the microorganisms, and human beings. Remember this thing. Human beings are the only organisms who can change their natural environment according to their needs and are disturbing the balance of the ecosystem. Let us now discuss in detail about what are the various producers and consumers. Producers are the plants which are capable of synthesizing their own food. These producers are present in all types of ecosystem, may it be a pond, may it be a, for example, planktons are the very small organisms which are present in the water. They are phytoplanktons. These phytoplanktons are the tiny plants which grow on the surface water, for example, algae. So, producers are the green plants which are capable of synthesizing their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Then consumers are the organisms which obtain their food directly or indirectly from the producers. They may be the herbivores, they may be the carnivores, they may be omnivores. Herbivores, plant-eating animals which directly feed on plants. Carnivores, flesh-eating animals, and omnivores which can eat both plants as well as animals. Example of herbivores, cow, deer. Examples of carnivores, lion, tiger. Example of omnivores, best example are the human beings. Then there are one more kind of organisms which have extreme importance in the environment, and these are the decomposers. Decomposers are the microorganisms or maybe the large organisms which feed on the body of dead organisms and convert the organic substances, complex compounds present in the dead bodies of producers and consumers into simpler soluble substances which get mixed in the soil. For example, bacteria. For example, fungi. The complex or compounds like proteins, like carbohydrates, like urea, which are nitrogenous compounds which are present in the dead bodies of plants and animals, are converted into simpler substances. These simpler substances mix into the soil. So from here, there is one very important question. What is the importance of decomposers? Decomposers play a dual role in the environment. Dual role means two main functions, that is the double role. Number one, they clean the environment by removing all the dead bodies. Secondly, they help in enriching the soil with nutrients, or we can say they help in replenishment of nutrients in the nutrient pool of earth. Replenishment of nutrients. So two important functions. It is very important question that can be asked what is the importance of decomposers? Number one, they clean the environment by removing all the dead bodies, all the waste from the surface of the earth. If decomposers would not have been present on the earth's surface, there would have been the piles of the dead bodies. Then they help in enriching the soil because when they convert the complex compounds into the simpler substances, these simpler substances are basically the nitrogenous compounds which get mixed in the soil and enrich the nitrogen concentration into the soil. So from here, it should be more clear to you that every ecosystem is a self-sustained unit or the independent unit, and this question can also be asked as it is. From here I can explain, from the nutrient pool of earth, each ecosystem has producers. These producers trap the sunlight energy. In the presence of light energy, the producers convert inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water into the organic compounds like carbohydrates and proteins. When these plants and animals, these plants or this food is eaten up by the consumers or the animals, when these plants and animals die, decomposers act on them and again convert these organic substances into the simpler substances which go back into the ecosystem. There are natural ecosystems also. There are artificial ecosystems. Artificial ecosystems include crop fields. They include the aquarium. Aquarium is a very good example of artificial ecosystem. In our next video, we will discuss about the food chains, food webs, and how the energy get transferred from one trophic level to the other. Thank you.